Hey everybody, welcome. It's that time again. Matt Connarton, Unleashed in the Afternoon. We are live on WMNH 95.3 FM, emanating from downtown, a very hot downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Streaming at WMNHradio.org. Of course, you can also find WMNH on the TuneIn app, so you can take us wherever you go. We are on Channel 97 Comcast in Manchester. And, of course, on Facebook via Facebook Live on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. Please give that a like if you haven't done so already. It is Wednesday, August 29th, 2018. Jenny is here as well.
Hello. Did you say the website? I didn't hear the website.
WMNHradio.org?
Yes, that website.
Yes, indeed. Where you can stream the show.
Just checking.
And let's see. By the way, a quick programming note. So tomorrow on the show, actually tomorrow morning, I'm going to be interviewing CD1 congressional candidate here in New Hampshire, Terrence O'Rourke. We did have him on the show a bit ago, maybe 5 or 6 weeks ago, but we're going to do a quick phoner tomorrow morning, and then I'll be able to share that with all of you tomorrow afternoon here on the show. He can't come in live. He's obviously very, very busy.
And just to let people know, all the candidates, no matter what party they're running at or whatever, have been invited to come on the show. Whether they show up on the show is up to them.
Hello to Orla Hart Shevlin in the Facebook live chat. Says, hi, Matt. How are you? Orla and Christine in Dublin, Ireland. Oh, wow. I remember them.
Cool.
I met them through Dr. Kevin. Yes, they were on the show.
Very cool.
A long time ago. Well, so we'll be talking with, I'll share my interview with Terrence O'Rourke with you tomorrow. But right now, I think he's already on the phone. I believe we are joined by a gentleman by the name of V. V, are you there? V, can you hear me? Oh, there's no one there. Okay, someone was calling the phone line, and he mentioned he might call early and just listen, but I don't know if that was actually him or not, so I don't want to tie up the line while we wait for him, because we're supposed to talk to him at 10 minutes after. So V is what you call a TI, a targeted individual, harassed by the government and so forth.
How he describes himself, I would say, would be a better choice of words.
Yes. And I did interview him a couple of years ago. That was before, I started doing the show here on WMNH. And it was a fascinating conversation. So, obviously, it's, not everyone is going to believe him. It's the kind of thing you approach with, I'm a skeptic. I approach it with some skepticism, but I also keep an open mind. So, but he's a very, very interesting guy. He's got a lot going on. He's got a very popular show online called Red Pill Hardcore, and I look forward to talking with him. I hope that wasn't him on the line just being quiet, but he'll call back, I'm sure.
And it's kind of early.
Yeah. So, we're going to be talking to him at 10 after. So
I've had like the worst day and the best day all at the same time. Like everything I needed to go right went right. But a lot of things went wrong. Starting out with landing on the floor, getting dressed, to the reason I sound funny right now is because I just had a tooth pulled.
Right.
So I'm just throwing that out there to let people know why I sound a little bit funny, and we've had a really wacky day.
Yeah.
You can't make this stuff up. You just can't.
Hello to Batista Gramad. I hope I'm saying the last name correctly in the Facebook live chat.
Sometimes I wonder if you just butcher people's names.
Yeah, well, I've told this story before about how in high school we used to do a thing called radio days every year, where the class, whoever wanted to volunteer, could go and spend a Saturday morning at a local radio station up in Concord, and I participated one year and was tasked with reading sports. How I ended up with that, I don't know. I don't know because I'm not a sports guy, but I did fine with it until we got to the part with tennis. And when it came to tennis, there were a lot of very long names with too many consonants and not enough vowels. And I mean, I knew Martina Navratilova. See, I can't even say it now. Navratilova. I could say it then because it was so common. to hear that name. Like everyone knew who she was, even if you weren't into tennis. But there were a lot of names where I just it was a train wreck. Hello to Genevieve, who joins us in the Facebook live chat and waves. Hello. And Ricky L, who had called into the show last week. I remember he kind of spelled out phonetically, I think, in the Facebook live chat how to say his name. But I decided to just go with Ricky L.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember.
Litwinkovich, maybe? I don't know. That's not right. Litwinkovich.
I'd have to look at it.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at it in the Facebook live chat.
I know, but I think it's somewhere else.
Litwinkovich, something like that.
Why
Ricky
don't you
L.
Just stop it and move on.
Pick up his new album.
Why do you got to spend 20 minutes trying to figure out a name?
You can cop that new Ricky L. album.
Oh, God.
It's available
Here
now.
He goes again.
That's right.
That's
kind of a callback to a joke last week. And if you don't get the joke, then that's why it's very important to listen to the program every day. And we do archive the shows at WMNHradio.org.
Yes, his Whiny Voice is archived at...
What?
What?
What were you saying?
Oh, nothing.
Okay. But we
Whiny Voices.
Whiny Voices?
Huh?
I don't get it.
I didn't say anything.
Okay.
Okay.
But everything gets archived there, and so you can listen to everything at your leisure. This show, the morning show, the weekly die-on, Granite State of Mind, anything else I might be forgetting. The reason, by the way, that I opened with that song, Don McGann, by my favorite YouTuber, that's, of course, a parody of Rubber Band Man, by my favorite YouTuber, Rocky Mountain Mike, is White House counsel Don McGann is apparently leaving the White House. Now, I don't know if that, or if anyone really knows, if that has anything to do with, the story that broke recently. It was last week or the week before, where he went and spent about 30 hours with Robert Mueller, answering questions, and then Trump said, oh, no, I approved that, and it's all good, and that's fine, which I don't know if people really believe that. Now, Don McGann is not Donald Trump's attorney, though, just to be clear. He is White House counsel, so he works for the White House as an attorney, but he is not Donald Trump's personal attorney, so nor is he someone whom Donald Trump, I think, has ever explicitly said should be looking out for his interests, like Jeff Sessions. Trump at times has seemed to indicate that he thinks that Sessions should be looking out for him, should be working directly for the president.
I just figured it out.
What?
I got the thing to show up on my phone, so now I can see Ricky Linkowicz.
No, I think you did worse with it than I did.
No.
You're leaving out a syllable, I think. He said
Linkowicz.
Yeah, you're leaving out a syllable. It's
no,
at least
I'm
4
not.
syllables.
I'm closer.
I think it's Litwinkovich, something like that.
Now I can see it.
He says, I guess I bring out the language thing in people, LOL. That's right.
I know the feeling. My maiden name was Lesagor. So you can imagine the same scenario. I got more mail with the weirdest spellings in the world.
Oh, I can imagine, yeah. Yeah, people misspell my name a lot, too. They just
That's because your name is misspelled, because in the real world it's an E and not an A.
Right. Yeah, that's the most common misspelling of it. I think even my first bank account had it spelled wrong. My first checking account, they had the last name wrong.
Well, you got it right on your birth certificate. Be happy for that one.
Yes. Reuters is reporting in latest White House exit, Trump to lose counsel Don McGann. He's says here his relationship with Trump has been strained by the investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election, and he is set to leave the job in the coming weeks. So this is happening pretty immediately. Trump announced on Twitter today that McGahn would leave after the U.S. Senate confirms the nomination of Brett Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court. He will become the latest in a long string of high-ranking advisors to leave Trump's side. McGahn did not know the tweet was coming, an administration official said, but he had been planning to leave the White House because
he is not the first.
Because he felt he had achieved his goals in getting conservatives named to federal judgeships, rolling back regulations, and reeling in the bureaucracy. Trump announced McGahn's departure less than 2 weeks after it was reported that McGahn had voluntarily cooperated with special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation of Russian meddling and possible collusion with the Trump campaign, which the president repeatedly has decried as a witch hunt. In his interviews with Mueller's team, McGahn was asked about Trump's actions in firing FBI Director James Comey in 2017, the Washington Post reported. Other topics included Trump's criticism of Attorney General Jeff Sessions and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, who oversees the Russia probe, the Post said. Trump has said he had given McGahn permission to talk with investigators and that he had nothing to hide. Mueller's investigation already has resulted in guilty pleas for several Trump insiders, indictments, cooperation deals, and one conviction. Russia has denied meddling in the election. Trump has not settled on a replacement for McGahn. White House spokeswoman Sarah Sanders told reporters there had been speculation the job would go to Emmett Flood, which is
settled on a replacement.
What do you mean?
For himself when he becomes president.
Oh, I'm sure he's thought about it, yes. There has been speculation the job would go to Emmett Flood, who just has a great name, a veteran Washington lawyer who joined the White House in May to help with the Russia probe. Sanders said of Flood, quote, "People like him. He's super well respected around the building, but there's not a plan locked in place at this point," unquote.
He's already got a strike against him.
Who does?
That guy.
Emmett Flood?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
He's a lawyer.
Well, yeah.
There's too many of them already.
McGahn could not be reached for comment. Well, Trump needs a lot of lawyers because he goes through lawyers pretty quick.
There's only a few that are good. The rest it's like ambulance chasers. Yeah.
Yeah, some of them, yeah. With his departure, he will become part of an unprecedented level of turnover among modern administrations studied by presidential scholars. Of Trump's top 27 aides listed on his first annual staff report to Congress, McGahn will be the 17th to depart.
Board up on the wall and make hashtags every time somebody either gets fired or quits the White House, because I still predict that this will be the presidency that has the most staff and the highest turnover rate than any former president dating back to the Federalist Papers.
Oh, there's charts online that people have made of it. Oh, yeah. They're out there. The news was met with dismay by Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley, who wrote in a tweet addressed to Trump, "You can't let that happen." Well, I guess Grassley really values McGahn. George Hartman, spokesman for the committee, said Grassley viewed McGahn as the linchpin in Trump's push to fill judicial vacancies. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell praised McGahn as, quote, "the most impressive White House counsel during any time in Washington," unquote. Wow, apparently McGahn is really well liked, apparently. With help from McGahn, Trump has reshaped the federal judiciary in a conservative direction, tilting the balance on the Supreme Court to the right and filling a record-breaking number of seats on the influential federal appeals court during his first 2 years in office. Trump's success in filling vacancies has been key to building and retaining political support among Republican voters. In one of the stormiest moments as White House lawyer, McGahn threatened to quit. Yes, I remember this. In June 2017, because he was fed up with Trump after Trump insisted he take steps to remove Mueller, a person familiar with the matter told Reuters earlier this year. McGahn was also involved in the controversy surrounding Trump's firing of former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. In January 2017, then acting Attorney General Sally Yates informed McGahn that Flynn had misled the FBI about his discussions with former Russian ambassador to the U.S., Sergei Kislyak. Flynn pleaded guilty in December 2017 to lying to the FBI. McGahn, a Washington insider who was chief counsel for Trump's presidential run, was one of the first advisors Trump named to the White House after being elected in November of 2016. So, the end of an era.
And in other Trumpy news today, we have Trump being forced to unblock his Twitter critics. Have you heard of this one?
No, I know there was a court that was going to be ruling on that, whether Trump as president had the right to block people.
Now they're going to get sweet revenge. The president is unblocking his critics, and they're wasting no time speaking out, says Huffington Post. President Donald Trump, or whoever has access to his Twitter account, apparently spent part of Tuesday evening unblocking users. Since taking office, Trump has blocked a number of people for criticizing him or even just cracking jokes at his expense, including celebrities such as model Christy Teigen, or Teglin? What is it with
I
us
don't
and
know.
names today? Tegan?
Sounds familiar. I don't know. I'm not sure who that is.
And author Stephen King. Stephen King? Yes, Stephen King blocked. Oh my gosh. However, in May, a federal judge said Trump's blocks were unconstitutional as his Twitter feed was a public forum which has been used in the course of appointment of officers, including cabinet secretaries, the removal of officers, and the conduct of foreign policy. U.S. District Court Judge Naomi Rice Buchwald advised Trump to use Twitter's mute function instead and asked the president and White House social media, Dan Scalvino, to unblock the users. So Trump unblocked the 7 plaintiffs in the lawsuit filed by the Knight First Amendment Institute. Knight as in like a knight on a horse with like a stick and stuff.
Yeah.
That kind of knight. So Knight First Amendment Institute. But not the only I can think of is my high school mascot. We were the Crusaders. But I digress. But not the others he had previously blocked. Although the Justice Department announced in June that it would appeal earlier this month, Knight asked that the White House to unblock an additional 41 accounts on Tuesday night. That happened, at least for some of them. Knight is now asking others who have been Trump blocked to get in touch. Comedy writer Bess Caleb took a moment to savor the victory by posting on Twitter, "Thank you to the Knight Foundation for legally forcing @RealDonaldTrump to take out his sticky little phone, scrunchy little nose, open Twitter, search my name, and shout, 'Do I seriously have to blank do this?' Be told yesterday by Dan Scavino. Take a deep breath and click unblock." I mean, in the one hand, this is funny, but in the other hand, I just want to cry. This is the news of my president.
I said, what kind of a man is this?
Is wasting money to go to court to block people on Twitter.
Yeah, I guess the argument would be that because his Twitter account is an official U.S. government Twitter account, he can't be blocking people.
Well, it's not even that. It predates that. He used it during the campaign. He actively
That goes
used
back
that.
to the Egyptian times.
Oy vey. It comes forward more than that. He used it during the time of his campaign to push his agenda, to make commentary about other people. So he opened it up to be fair game as a public access for anything. Once you use something for politics, it's got to be used for politics. You can't just flip it back and forth.
For those who don't know, because you said in the story the judge suggested that he mute his critics who he doesn't like. So I'm bad about Twitter. I don't use it nearly enough. In fact, I forgot to even mention at the top of the show, you can tweet me at Matt Connarton. That's how un-Twitter savvy I am. But I do know this. For anyone who doesn't know, who's curious, muting on Twitter, if I understand it correctly, is when you can mute people whose you don't want to see their feed. You don't want to see their tweets. So you use the mute function. They can still follow you that way. So you're not actually blocking them. You're just muting them. So you don't see their stuff unless you want to, unless you go looking for it.
Can
but it won't
still
show up
see
in your
you?
feed. So you don't get your feelings hurt if you're Trump.
Do they still see you, or is it both ways, like
No,
on Facebook when you block somebody?
I believe they still see you. It just means they call it muting because you don't have to see their stuff. So if someone is commenting on your
if I'm
tiny
gonna
hands,
mute you, I won't want you to be able to see my stuff.
well, then you block them. You block them instead
You
of
can
muting
block
them.
on Twitter.
Yeah, of course. But that
my God.
well, that was the whole point of that was the whole point of this. Trump was blocking these people, and the court said Trump can't
oh yeah,
do that.
that's right. I just read that.
Yeah. So,
I haven't had a heck of a day. Maybe I should have said yes to the CAT scan.
but I guess if Trump can just mute them, then he doesn't have to see their stuff. Hello to Dr. Jeff Cassell,
But
who
then
joins us in the
isn't that just
Facebook live
around
chat.
the way to be able to block, to not listen to the American public. If the ruling is based on the fact that it's a public forum and every American has a right to see it, then he shouldn't have the ability to mute either, because he should have to see everybody's post. No?
Well, I think, I mean, it sounds like what the court is saying is no, legally, he's not required to have to see everyone's post. But he can't hide anything either. He can't hide anything from his constituents on Twitter if people want to see it.
It's a line. I think it's a fine line.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really feel that strongly about it one way or another. I am curious. I'd love to know if George Conway, Kellyanne Conway's husband, was one of the people blocked. Because he said a lot of very critical things of the president. And I just would love to know the dynamic in that marriage.
You can just imagine what the real block list is. I'm sure it does not even come close to being as low as being 41.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm sure.
You upset me. Block. You'll never see me again.
Well, I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised
I wish
if he...
I could do with that thing, but I can't.
I'd be surprised if he actually unblocks anyone because, just because the court says he has to do something doesn't mean he's going to do it. I mean, the court ruled that the administration needs to reunite all these families that were separated at the border. And from what I understand, they really haven't done a whole lot. They're really kind of slow walking that whole process because they really just don't care. So, I'm sure, if Trump does comply and unblocks these people, I'm sure he's not in a hurry to do it. I'd be curious if the judge gave him some kind of a deadline. So I don't know if V's calling or not, or if that was him on the phone earlier, but when I went to the phone line, there was nobody there, so I had to hang up.
If you're out there, call.
Yeah, call us if you want, V, but hey, we're here till 6.
Or whatever.
So if you got sidetracked, that's fine. Just to remind people, too, if you're joining us late, tomorrow morning I'm going to be talking via phone with, he's very, very busy, so he can't make it in live before the primary. But Terrence O'Rourke, CD1 candidate here in New Hampshire for the 1st Congressional District. We're going to do a phoner tomorrow night. He was in the studio with us maybe 5 or 6 weeks ago. Time is, there's so much time distortion in the Trump era. But we had a great conversation, and of course you can find that online. And plus, I received a special dispensation that day to go on John Hopwood's show, on his television show, and continue that discussion. So that was really interesting. But there's been this whole controversy with one of his opponents, Maura Sullivan, over military record and some, what is and what is not a combat veteran, etc. So I'll be very curious to ask him about that.
I know a lot of vets that don't like people demoralizing another vet based on what they did. If you signed up, if you took the pledge, no matter what you did, your job was part of the team that needed it in order for it to work, and your service shouldn't be belittled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just everyone counts.
Right. I think the controversy is her use of the word combat, because she wasn't actually in combat, but she was in a combat zone. So it's
could a
very
rocket have hit her?
semantical.
Was she in range? Were there rockets going off that she was in range of a missile going off?
That I don't know.
And hitting her?
I don't know.
Was there sniper fire going off that could have hit her? I mean, if she was within the vicinity of it, just because she didn't get hit doesn't mean that that's not within that zone. And why the heck are we spending so much time talking about where she was located during her service? How about instead you tell me, what is it in her platform that you absolutely disagree with, and why do you disagree with it, and how would you deal with it differently? Stick to the issues and stop with this. It feels like schoolyard bully junk. I'm tired of it. I'm tired, sick and tired of it. Tell me about your position on the issue. I don't care what your definition is of her service. I know she served this country. That's all that matters to me. My grandfather was a lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps, and service was service. It didn't matter what your job was. If you stepped up and you put on a uniform, you mattered.
Says who?
Says my grandfather. I'm gonna break your finger with that button.
Don't blame me. It's Michael Cohen.
No, it's you and that button.
I don't know what you're talking about. Michael Cohen is he's joined us on the show via prison or something. No, I don't think he's gone to the Hoos Cow yet. This is kind of a weird story. Lawandcrime.com has this, and there's some audio to go with it, which will be fun to listen to. A Democratic senator called 911 on a reporter who asked questions after an event. This happened in Florida. A Democratic state senator from Florida called 911 claiming a woman was threatening her at a restaurant. That woman apparently was a Miami Herald reporter who was asking questions following a campaign event. Senator Daphne Campbell can be heard in a recording of the 911 call she placed on August 9th, released by the Miami-Dade Police Department, frantically calling for help. Apparently, let's see. I'm kind of skipping down here because I don't want to read all the verbiage from the recording because we're going to actually listen to it. But according to the Miami Herald, that lady was their reporter, Sarah Blasky. Blasky was reportedly asking Campbell questions following an event for candidates in the state Senate race. Since then, Campbell lost to attorney Jason Pizzo. On the call, Campbell stated she was calling from Duffy's, the restaurant where the event took place. And actually, we have a call. This might be V, so we might have to come back to that. Hello, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed in the Afternoon. Who's this?
Yes, this is V.
The mysterious
How are
V.
you doing, Matt?
How are you, sir? It's good to hear from you. Jenny is here as well.
Hey, V.
Hey,
Well, you know, it has taken so long for me to be able to get my internet going today.
Oh.
Yes, I had everything figured out last couple minutes. It's been crazy.
What now? Why is that? Is that a coincidence or is someone interfering?
I will tell you, it's government censorship. I'm underneath government censorship extremely hard.
Yes.
When you say you're under government censorship extremely hard, do you literally mean yourself?
I'm sorry. 1 second. One of my earphones just broke.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
You-
so no.
You've been sabotaged.
You're falling to pieces.
I think that by government censorship, he means that he's one of the people who was blocked on Donald Trump's Twitter.
Well, I don't want to speak for him, but
Well, it was a joke. And V.
now, V, haven't you all self-identified as a TI?
I'm a target individual. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Who am I speaking with?
This is Jenny.
That's Jenny, and that's
Hi, Jenny. How are you doing?
I'm doing
I
good.
thought that was you.
So actually, let's back up. Let's say, who are you, and why are you important to hear? What's your voice all about?
Well, I am V. I am the host of the Red Pill Hardcore TV show, formerly a radio show, which you guys carried with your network.
Right now
I'm
we
a targeted
just
individual.
FYI, we are on WMNH 95.3 FM in Manchester, New Hampshire, live on WMNHradio.org, on cable, Comcast as well. Just so you're aware that we're on FM bandwave and cable and Facebook Live.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, go ahead, V.
Well, I never use profanity, so that's.
I just wanted to let you
Why
know
are
which
doing
network you were on.
that? Well,
I know
no,
you're on a
I'm
few. I know you're on a few.
Once again, I'm a target individual, a person who has been harassed by secret government entities, such as the NSA and whatnot. I was harassed by the NSA. I was supposed to be an on-shelf shooter for the NSA. I was supposed to do a mass killing and kill myself, but I broke the program. So I've been whistleblowing about it ever since.
So, V, were you in the military? Were you in the United States military, and then the NSA recruited you for to be a sniper or an assassin or something? What do you mean exactly?
No. See, people think that these shooters, and all of them are target individuals. These mass shooters.
Okay.
They think that people can't commit these atrocities because, or it can't be government because it's not government personnel doing these things. Just Columbine shooters, Virginia Tech, all these shooters, down to the most recent one, have all been people harassed by the NSA to do these shootings. Now, to answer your question, yes, I happen to be ex-military.
Okay.
But I was never involved in the NSA.
Okay.
At any level. I was just someone who I guess they thought they can tap because they don't want people around they consider undesirable. I'm not doing something for them, and I refuse to do anything for them. I got harassed repeatedly. We can use a mind like yours. You're a genius. Come back and work for us. All I can tell them is, screw off. That's never going to happen. So I got put under a program to be used by them anyhow to be pushed over the edge to become a false flag shooter. Now, I'm smart enough not to have fallen for the PSYOP. I've studied psychology since I could read books. And, I just wasn't going to fall for it. I was going to be used. And so, here I am today, still whistleblowing.
But how did you get out of the military, though? How did you escape that?
Medical injury, medical honorable discharge.
Okay. So you got out, and then they they wanted you to come back, and you resisted that, and then so they've been. So tell us about the harassment part of this. You say, and this is and again, you're a targeted individual, which by definition is someone targeted by the government for harassment, essentially, correct?
Correct.
So you, what kind of harassment do they do? What do they do to try to, I guess, either convince you to come back or push you over the edge or whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish? What kind of harassment are we talking about?
For most people, it's gang stalking. For some, it's voice to skull, synthetic telepathy, covert audio harassment. Basically, tinfoil hat conspiracy, government beaming voices into your head. For other people, it's computer hacking.
Mm.
I got hit with all three at exactly the same time.
Okay.
And, I worked my way through these things. I scared off my gang stalkers. They're all elderly, retired DOD people anyways. They let me know that they were DOD because these old white guys in their vehicles following me would have their baseball caps on. Retired Navy, retired Air Force, retired whatever. They would pull up, park where I'm parked at. I would go to the park, to the lake, the river, and they would just pull up in the most inappropriate spots to park.
Yeah.
Let me know that they were there.
Really? Okay. And then when they did that,
yeah.
and then would they engage you directly? Would they actually say anything to you, or were they just kind of following you and menacing you, or what would they do?
No, they wouldn't engage me. I engaged them.
Oh,
Most targeted individuals are freaked out of their heads, freaked out of their minds.
right.
At this point, before my targeting got really heavy, I did a lot of research. So I knew the game.
Yeah.
I knew what to do. I approached these gang stalkers. I would at least stand outside their vehicle, get their license plate number, write down a description, who they are, or record them with my camera phone. And they got scared. They eventually went away. That my gang stalking lasted for a total of 2 weeks. So after that, the V2K. Last time I was on your show, I spoke to you about the V2K. Actually, more appropriately named remote neural monitoring with synthetic telepathy harassment.
Okay.
Done by the NSA. The New World Order agencies in general.
Can we back up for a second? All right, because I mean, I'm sure you know that there's people listening right now that are going, "Oh my gosh, this is conspiracy, hoo-ha," right? And you keep using the term gang stalkers. So when I hear the word gang stalkers, I think of like a group of people following me down a scary alley. What does that mean? And what are you accusing? And who are they? You know what I mean? What do they do?
Okay. To put it into perspective, you have people who are trying to run and control the world, and they're doing it through psychological means. That's why we have these false flags. That's why we have media that lies to us through Operation Mockingbird, mainstream media. All these subversive tactics. Now, you have people like this who want to control the world, but they're too cowardly and too power greedy to get their own hands dirty. Now, that means you've got, the intelligence director or maybe inspector general of an agency. They've got a special agent underneath them, and then an agent underneath them, and then they've got contacts in the police department. The people in the police department have contacts to informants and even COP programs, Citizens on Patrol. The FBI has a direct department called InfraGard, citizens who think that they're doing something right, think they're doing good for humanity by being citizens on patrol, by being InfraGard, by being essentially stalkers, because these people are lied to. They're told, they're given false intel, false information. Oh, this person is a drug dealer. Or this person's a child molester, or this person is, whatever bogus claim, and they'll put these claims on people that they don't want around. They consider to be useless to society. This is eugenics going on right now, or what I call dysgenics.
Wait, you call what?
So this is the culling of the population.
So you're saying flat out that the government is intentionally targeting specific people in order to kill them?
Absolutely. Most people that
how are they picking
stalked,
people? Like, what's the
is
there like a criteria that we want to get rid of smart people, we want to get rid of people who have disabilities? I mean, is there a target list?
What you just mentioned and more. Absolutely. People they don't consider to be a part of the system, working for the system. If you're not a 9-to-5 slave, you got your own little mom and pop store, your own little business, your own little entrepreneurship. You can sit at home, work off the internet. You can become a target because there's no one
Matt,
barking
that's
orders
you.
at you, telling you what to do.
That's not good news.
That's you, Matt. That literally just described you. You just described Matt.
And
You're doomed, dude.
I'm nervous now.
You're doomed. They don't care about my ass anymore. Oh, is that a bad word? No, it's not. That's right. They don't care about me anymore. I mean, I'm not a threat to anything, but you. I don't know. Maybe he needs to give you some pointers to keep you safe.
Yeah.
How do you even know if you're getting targeted?
I'm sorry?
How do you even know if you're getting targeted?
That's the question. You can ask any TI who is targeting them and why, for how long, and they will have to sit there and think for a while. Because they've actually asked themselves this question as well. The targeting is subtle at first. Oh, well, darn, one of my accounts got hacked on, whatever social network or gaming network or whatever. Your email got hacked. And then next thing you know, your tires are slashed. Or next thing you know, you've got a guy or a woman who's so interested in you, won't go away. Won't stop asking you out on a date.
Yeah.
It starts off, and then it builds up, and it builds up. You're getting pulled over by police and given frivolous tickets.
Have you ever experienced having red eyes?
What?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Have you ever experienced having red eyes?
Red eyes? No, I don't know what you mean.
I was looking up an article, and it was saying that's one of the first signs of being a targeted individual is to see your eyes have a red tinge to them because of the uncontrollable attack and the body trying to cope with it. Is that real or
what
false?
that actually is the sleep deprivation. Someone who is getting voice to skull cannot sleep. It's very hard to sleep when you've got voices talking to you, screaming at you to kill yourself.
Right.
It's extremely hard to sleep. So fatigue is where they want you because you get, to a point, it's like, I don't want to put up with this anymore. I can't.
So when you first started to experience this, V, how quickly did it escalate? Because you said it starts off subtle, just things that might happen to anyone, like a social media account being hacked, and then it gets worse. Like how fast did this escalate for you?
For me, wow. I'm a gamer. I'm a video gamer.
Yeah.
I've been one for, I would say, 15 years. One day I was gaming with a friend, and we were talking over Skype, because that's how you get secret intel.
V, are you still there? Did we lose him? I don't hear V.
Somebody cut his connection.
Did someone cut him off? V, are you still there? Going once? Going twice?
And
all right. Well, I'm going to have to hang up. And then if V wants to call back, he's certainly welcome to. I
was just looking up stuff on this, right? So they're saying that this is a crime.
Oh.
That people will become unemployed and lose all their friends.
Here we go.
You got him?
Is this V? Is that you?
V?
Oh, I heard a click.
Oh, I heard a click too.
Oh. I think they've. I do hear voices in my head sometimes, so maybe that's. But they just tell me to burn things.
But do they ever tell you? Well, do they ever tell you to do other things like tell you how to feel or you see illusions?
Let's try to get.
Hello.
Hey,
there you are. How are you, V? What happened?
You're
Well,
making me think somebody's cutting you off so
the
you
funny
can't
thing
say
is-
anything. It's like, geez, this is a little much.
The funny thing is, I've gone through. Well, I have several different internet services. I've gone through them all today because none of them are working.
Oh.
I'm using the mobile data on my cell phone right now, tethering to the computer.
Is this something that
interview.
commonly occurs with you if you're going to do an interview?
I have lawsuits that I'm mounting up right now because of all the electronic harassment.
Oh.
I have, yes, my. This is why I pre-record my TV show.
Yeah.
And I have other TV shows launching, but this is why I pre-record my TV show because of the constant disconnects and whatever have you. My guest audio can't be heard, or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So everything's recorded and goes into post-production. That's why my TV show looks the way it does.
Yeah, yeah.
I usually don't do anything live.
Yeah, yeah.
For this reason.
Oh, interesting. Okay. No, before we got cut off, I was asking about how quickly things escalated for you, and I'm curious too. At what point during that escalation did you realize there was something more than just bad luck, or like I said, I mean, someone's social media account being hacked? That's not necessarily unusual, but obviously there must have been a point where you realized that you were experiencing something more than just technical glitches and things of that nature.
Well, for me, it was instant. As I was saying before, I'm a gamer.
Oh, yes.
I was gaming with a friend. Earlier that day, before I was gaming with a friend, I had read an article about the NSA listening to all communications. This was before Snowden.
Okay.
At least I think it was. I hadn't heard of Snowden at the time.
Yeah.
But I mentioned to my friend on Skype chat while we were video gaming, it's like, be careful what you say, because he did this Arab, Allah Akbar, scream. He kept doing it as he was killing people in the video game. I was like, hey, you better be careful. The NSA is listening to us right now.
Right, right.
I'm going to tell you the next day, getting voice to skull.
Wait, what?
These people don't.
Oh, this.
Yes, the next thing.
Wow.
Getting voice to skull. They don't care what you've done.
Mm.
If whatever it is, if it's illegal or not, if they don't like it, they want to get rid of you.
Yeah.
There's no law that's protecting anyone right now against these covert harassment programs.
But when you start experiencing the voice to skull, I mean, how do you know, or do you know right away that that's what it is, and that it's not something? Because I would think if that were happening to me, I would be wondering, okay, is somebody messing with me, or has something neurologically gone wrong with me? What is this that's going on? I mean, how did you arrive at the conclusion that it was voice to skull?
Well, like I said, I have been a student of psychology my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I could, read books, I've always had an interest in psychology. I've studied mental diseases, and at that point, it's like, wait, this doesn't seem right.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'm thinking to myself, okay, it's the neighbors next door. And that's what most targeted individuals think. Oh, it's neighbors next door. If you live in an apartment or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
it's the neighbors. It's the neighbors.
Yeah.
Targeted individuals have gone to their next door neighbors' houses and murdered them. One guy was seen in was put in the news, and he stated that he killed his next door neighbors, and he tore up the house, and he was asked, what were you looking for? A mind control box or device. Now, once I figured out it wasn't the next door neighbors, because I had a stack of mail uh, that was being sent to my mailbox that wasn't mine. Previous residents and so forth. I went next door and asked the guy if any of this mail was his. Now, the guy was surprised to see me. He said he didn't know anyone lived next door because the apartment had been vacant for some time. And I really knew because his voice didn't sound anything like what I was hearing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. So that was my little intelligence mission, gathering mission there.
Yeah.
And so that wasn't it. So I dove back into my books and started looking at schizophrenia and neurological stuff, and no, none of this fits. I'm too old to develop schizophrenia, and none of it sounds right.
Yeah, because symptom. Now that's
with schizophrenia. With schizophrenia, you hear sounds, you hear a voice here and there, you hear random things.
Yeah, and there's
when
extreme.
You get voice to skull, you get an agenda. You get someone. You get commands. You get full sentences, commands.
Okay.
Insults. You get directions.
Okay.
Full blown conversation you can have with the AI.
Wow. Now what?
You can't do that with schizophrenia.
AI is what? What is AI? V.
Artificial intelligence.
Okay.
The voice to skull is hooked up to a computer somewhere within the NSA or any other New World Order government.
So is this some kind of chip?
It's mostly the Five Eyes that's doing this.
That they... do people get, inserted with chips or something?
Well, that's the thing. All this is done not by RFID chips, not microchips, but nano RFID. Now, let me go further and say that everyone has this. Want to know why?
Why?
Because we all breathe air, chemtrails, the aluminum, strontium, barium is coating our neural pathways. We are walking RFID chips. Our brains are
interesting.
Our computer chips, anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our brains are computers. Now we're given Wi-Fi with this nano particulates they're put in our system because all the stuff breaks the blood-brain barrier.
Okay.
Your neural pathways are laced. You have been scanned into the system. Me, you, Jenny, anyone that you could think of, and their children, been scanned into the system. All it takes is a phone number to dial you up.
Wow. Okay. So, now how long? Well, actually, let me ask it this way: when did this start, V? How long have you been a TI?
Well, I want to say it's coming close to 5 years now.
Okay.
But I also want to say that I haven't been getting voice to skull that much since I started a TV show, and it's been about 4 or 5 months since I've had any voices at all. I've gotten too dangerous. I think.
Well, I was thinking too. I would think that at a certain point, if someone is manipulating you through voice to skull or harassment or whatnot, and it's been 5 years, and you obviously have not given into it. Not only have you not given into it, but you've taken on this role as an activist for TIs, and you do media and whatnot, and try to educate people about it. I would think at a certain point they would give up, right? And maybe could that be why you're not? You said it's been 5 months. I mean, could that be why? I mean, because at a certain point, it's like, okay, this isn't getting us anywhere with this guy. He's not giving in. He's not doing what we want him to do. Maybe we should focus on some TIs who we might actually get somewhere with, right?
Well, you're speaking under the assumption that these people are actually intelligent.
Right.
Yes, they hire scientists to do their technological advances. They contract scientists to make them these wonderful gadgets that could further humanity, but no, everything's turned into weaponry. Now, these wonderful devices are created, these scientists go away if they're not killed, and guess what you got left? You got monkeys with guns. You got monkeys with guns. Okay? The bullies, the military industrial complex has two types of people, bullies and scientists. Okay, once the scientists do their job, you got the bullies doing what they want to do. We all know bullies aren't intelligent.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we talk about there's a particular bully we talk about a lot on this program who's not terribly not terribly bright in some ways, but we won't get into that.
Well,
but,
they are bright in some ways.
Sure, yeah. But V, do you think eventually they'll leave you alone completely?
Well, no, this is warfare. I'm a psychological warfare expert.
Yeah.
At this point, and on top of it, it's so much ego. Me as a black man who is smarter than they are, way more resourceful, way more powerful, way more loved. Do you think they want me around? They're going to try everything humanly possible to get me gone.
Yeah.
Their egos cannot tolerate my existence.
Yeah. But if that's the case, then why not, and forgive me for putting it this way, but if that's the case, why not just kill you? Like why haven't they killed you?
Well, you are also talking about these dumb people who are, and I don't want to offend anyone who is spiritual, but organized religion, all this stuff has its place in society. One day we will evolve to either embrace it or let it go.
Mm-hmm.
But currently it's being used to manipulate good people by very bad people.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have these dark occultists, and they understand some fundamentals about energy. And that is, they have to subjugate the mind. They have to subjugate the spirit in order to have their control.
Okay.
Me, if they kill me as a person who is against them, I'll be reborn for that purpose.
Mm-hmm.
If they do subjugate me, they own me.
Right.
They own my energy, my spirit. So, and I know this for a fact. I've been reborn on this planet fighting these very same scumbags for centuries.
Wow.
I hope I get things right this time.
Right, yeah.
I'm pretty sure you knew me in my past life. I'm in the history books. My name is Guy Fawkes.
Oh, okay. Very good.
That's a little joke, but whatever.
I was going to say, hence the V.
Yeah, and they don't want to martyr me either.
Right, right. So, what advice do you have? Because obviously, I mean, you have quite a following, and I'm sure there's people who are listening right now online from probably all over the world, or who will listen later to the archive. But what advice do you have for other targeted individuals who are hearing this, who don't know what to do?
Well, number one, documentation. Documentation is your best friend. I have had a previous conversation with you before the show, asking you permission to record in case any weirdness happened.
Yeah.
because I have my lawsuits that are going to be going. Lo and behold, we have this disconnect, right?
Right, right.
I've had all day long to get an internet connection ready. God must be just smiling upon me because I got one going in time enough to get on the show.
Yes.
So documentation is your best friend. Record any gang stalkers. Now, don't be paranoid and record everyone around you thinking everyone is after you.
Right.
If it's the same person more than twice, go ahead, get your camera phone out. Pretend like you're playing a game, whatever. Just make sure you get video recording. And as it gets more and more frequent, it will be more and more obvious. For someone who is getting electronically harassed, like me, who's constantly being hacked, internet services hacked, these sort of things, get a screen recorder. Well, you need a redundancy system. Get a screen recorder and record everything weird goes on. If that gets hacked, have a camera phone or just a digital camera, external. Never connect it to the internet. Never put a data card in it.
Okay.
To mark it with any network to be implanted with some sort of software. Buy one fresh out the box. Go to Walmart, get one cheap, $30.
Mm-hmm.
You got a camera phone. Get a micro SD card, and get as many videos as you can of any unusual occurrences. Because no one believes TIs. TIs think people are either going to believe their word or not, which is true, but we're beyond that. We live in an age where everything is visual. We need visual evidence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I can
of
tell
course.
you, I have an archive of 130 gigs of the evidence that I'm taking to court.
Now, let me ask you about the. I don't know how much you can say about it, and maybe you can't say anything about it. And if you can't, I understand. But I mean, I am curious about the lawsuits. Who are you suing?
Anyone who's tried to silence me.
Okay.
Have you already filed
that's,
lawsuits?
Well, let me say this. I have talked to lawyers, and they have all said this is an open and shut case. We'll take it pro bono.
Wow.
So right now, I'm shopping lawyers, see which one I get the best percentage with.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Well, that's good.
What do you hope to achieve?
By what?
The lawsuits.
If you win.
If I win, well. Well, you're trying to dig into the battle plans, huh? Well,
I'm blunt.
I can't
Sorry.
really say. Well, publicly, what I want to achieve is to let the public know that it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that it is happening. It's real. People need to speak out about it and bring it to an end.
Yeah. All right.
Is there like a network or a place where people can go to find out more information about you?
TLBTV.com.
Yep.
I'm a premier host with the Liberty Television. Or, sorry, the Liberty Beacon Television Network. And try to say it 5 times fast. And also, now with you guys are giving me my own TV channel. Isn't that correct?
That's true. Online at our site. Yes, absolutely. And I want to ask you too, though. And of course, you can find all the everything that you have, all the shows that you've done too, are archived on YouTube. And we should mention the name of the show. The actual name of the show itself is Red Pill Hardcore, correct?
The Red Pill Hardcore.
The Red Pill Hardcore. Yes. And
Yes, sir.
And what also too, are there any other resources for other targeted individuals that people should know about online, websites that they should visit, or websites that you know of that they should avoid in terms of, because like I said, I'm sure there's other TIs listening.
Well, I'm asked this a lot.
Yeah.
And the answer that I give, some people don't like because I guess it makes me sound arrogant or convoluted or something. I don't know. I haven't actually asked why it puts a bad taste in some people's mouths. But the best resource is my TV show.
Okay.
I've done, there's no one that knows more about this than myself, and especially having media to get out there. A lot of people say, "Oh, well, you must be a shill to be so successful with your show. You wouldn't be able to get your show off the ground." I have bled the show up and going and unimpeded. We've had to learn technical skills like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
To be able to do this.
Yeah.
And so, well, and we have done this media to expose the crime for targeted individuals, because people have told me my entire life, "You're so wise, you're so influential, you have this thing about you, this voice." People have told me my entire life, even as a child, "You have an amazing voice. You should use that one day. Or you should be a news anchor." Okay, well, that's not my thing. But when I became targeted, it's like, well, maybe I gotta use what's in the ordnance chamber, pull out the artillery,
Right, right,
and get it going.
Yeah.
So my show is the most progressive thing out there for targeted individuals. I explain things in a way that you can't really argue against. You just have to go do your own research. You want to argue against me? Tell me how I'm wrong, please. Absolutely. Debunk anything I say. I challenge you.
Yeah.
I just want people to think.
Right.
Go debunk me, please.
Yeah.
But you're going to find out everything I'm saying is right.
Interesting.
Hello to Archie and Christian that I saw join this. I thought I saw somebody
in the
else.
Facebook live chat. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, listen, V, it's we're a bit past the top of the hour, and we've kept you on a long time, so we'll wrap up with you. But I want to thank you so much for joining us today. This has been interesting, and I knew it would be, because, like I was saying earlier, talked to you a couple of years ago before the show was here on WMNH. We had interviewed you for the first time online, and
that was a while ago.
That might have been more than 2 years ago. Actually, that was a while ago. We've known you for a while, V. But
I remember I was sitting in my friend's car using her phone because my cell phone stopped working.
Oh, yes.
The computer at home stopped working. The computer at the library didn't want to work for me.
Yeah.
So I sat in my friend's car just to do the interview.
Yes, that's right. I remember you saying that. Yeah. So this has been wonderful. Thank you so much. And I think we should definitely do this more often and not let so much time go by between doing this.
Maybe have you fill us in on things that the average person wouldn't hear otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe once a month or something.
A master
give us a call.
of the occult. I know many psychological operations, from the child pedophilia to the drug running. I have seen the full spectrum, so I'll gladly be a guest on anytime you want me.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, well, we will take you up on that.
Well, you stay safe.
We'll be in touch. Yeah. Take care, V. And again, we wish you continued success with the Red Pill Hardcore, and we will talk to you again soon, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, V. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Always fascinating to talk to V. He does have a great voice. I know it's a sin.
I do. I get the urge to, kind of cuddle up and get a nice warm drink. It's got.
I'd love to have a deep voice like that.
sexy tone to it.
Well, I wasn't.
There,
I wasn't
yeah.
thinking of it quite that way. I just, just,
Well, I was.
that well. So we will. We're a little bit past the top of the hour. We'll take a break and kind of reset and get. I do want to go back to that story. I want to play the audio of that 911 call from that woman in Florida and that reporter. But we'll kind of reset things with a little bit of Randy Rainbow here on Matt Connarton Unleashed in the Afternoon, live on WMNH 95.3 FM.
We are back, and I'm joined now by a very special guest, the President of the United States. Are we still going with that title? Yes? They're telling me yes? Okay, still good. Welcome, Mr. President. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know you must be very busy cleaning out your desk. It has been quite a dramatic news week for you.
They make up lies. I've seen it many times. They make up things.
I mean, 2 former employees convicted, one implicating you as a co-conspirator in his crimes, a public feud with your attorney general, friends and allies, even doormen flipping on you left and right.
I know all about flipping. For 30, 40 years, I've been watching flippers.
Such a good show.
Look, I didn't know Manafort well. He wasn't with the campaign long.
Well, then why don't we start with your former attorney and fixer, Michael Cohen.
I always found him to be a nice guy.
Were you aware of the hush money payments he is now saying were financed by the campaign per your instruction?
They didn't come out of the campaign. They came from me, and I tweeted about it. You know, I don't know if you know, but I tweeted about the payments. But they didn't come out of campaign.
Did they come out of the campaign?
They didn't come out of the campaign, and that's big.
Huge.
Because that could be
illegal.
A little dicey.
Or illegal.
But they weren't. It's not even a campaign violation. If you look at President Obama, he had a massive...
Pecker. David Pecker, your friend and CEO of the National Enquirer, has recently been granted immunity in the Cohen investigation and is said to have a lot of dirt on you.
I don't know. I've always had controversy in my life, and I've always succeeded. I've always won.
Well, some say you're about to win, most likely to get impeached.
I'll tell you what. If I ever got impeached, I think the market would crash.
If you ever got impeached?
I think everybody would be very poor.
Why, if you ever got impeached, you would probably start crying, then rehash all the lying and rhetoric you've preached. All the Dems would be smirking, Jim Acosta would start twerking if you ever got impeached.
If I ever got impeached...
You could just give in to Mueller, then go and get some color by lying on a beach. This is all natural, right? With the crimes you've been fixing, you could be another Nixon if you only got impeached.
I think the market would crash.
You'd be through and take with you our worries and our strife. You'd return to only burdening your wife, and we'd resume a normal life. Find a lawyer, 'cause you'll need one. Write a book or learn to read one, or get your eyebrows bleached, 'cause just relax at the spa, go yourself at Mar-a-Lago if you get impeached.
I don't know how you can impeach somebody who's done a great job.
You'd be more than implicated for laws you violated and protocols you breached.
Because without this thinking...
We could finally all stop drinking if you ever got impeached.
I think everybody would be very poor.
We would dance and sing and revel. No one else has hit the level of infamy you've reached. Giuliani could retire, Pence could join a gay men's choir if you ever get impeached.
The president did nothing wrong.
When you flee, take Huckabee, and finally I'll become. I'd ask Michael Avenatti to the prom, and Kellyanne could move to Guam. More than half the country's waiting, so think about the ratings, 'cause when you gave your speech, we would all tune in to listen. You could finally go to prison.
I'm not involved. I wasn't charged with anything.
If you ever got impeached.
I think everybody would be very poor.
What would you do with the brain if you had?
Well, hey, everybody, welcome back. It's Matt
I feel
Connarton,
so
Unleashed in the
peaceful.
Afternoon. What?
I feel so peaceful now. What a wonderful song.
Yes, of course. A little bit of Randy Rainbow. We are live, 603-250-6007 here on WMNH 95.3 FM, emanating from downtown Manchester. Of course, we are on Facebook, on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. So hello to everybody in the Facebook live chat. Of course, we're also streaming at WMNHradio.org and on Channel 97 Comcast if you're in Manchester. And I just saw something quite shocking. I did not know, we hear a lot about Hillary Clinton still, even this far after the election. Trump will still bring her up sometimes. And of course, he wants, he wants Senator, well, not Senator, but Attorney General Jefferson Beauregard Sessions III to begin investigating Hillary immediately and whatnot. But I'm learning something about Hillary Clinton that I didn't realize. According to rightwingwatch.org, this is incredibly troubling. I had no idea this was going on. Liz Crokin, and we've featured audio from Liz Crokin many times on the show.
Wait. Should we have a trigger warning on what you're going to read?
Oh, maybe.
You made it sound like it was awful.
Well, it depends on how you feel about this kind of thing. Liz Crokin is blaming, apparently she had a surfing mishap. She is blaming her injury on a spell cast by Hillary Clinton. Now, this is something I did not know about Hillary, or Crooked Hillary, as Trump likes to call her. I was not aware that she was a witch. Says here,
it takes one to know one.
Well,
she must know a few.
Yes. Says last week, right-wing journalist, quote unquote.
Oh boy, just when you think you've heard it all.
And fringe conspiracy theorist Liz Crokin lost the tips of two of her fingers. Oh, that's not good. I legitimately feel bad for anyone that happens to. That's yikes. I cringe at that kind of thing. In a surfing accident, which she is blaming on a spell that may have been cast on her by Hillary Clinton. Last night, Crokin posted a video on YouTube recounting her accident, which happened when the surfboard that she was holding by a rope was forcefully pulled away by a crashing wave, severing parts of two fingers. While she realizes that it was probably just a freak accident, that didn't stop her from also asserting that it may have been the result of a curse that had been placed on her by Hillary Clinton or artist Marina Abramovich or some other witch that is targeting her, speaking of targeted individuals, targeting her due to her efforts to expose the secret satanic cannibalistic pedophile cult that supposedly runs the world. Oh, my goodness. Well, let's...
you did that pretty good with one breath.
Well, this is very...
Actually, that was a little bit impressive there.
I'm very animated by this because it's very upsetting.
That was some pretty impressive broadcasting there.
Because I am...
I'll give you an A for today.
I will go on the record right now as saying this, and this is a bold stance, but this is the position that I take. I oppose secret satanic cannibalistic pedophile cults. I oppose that. I'm absolutely against that.
I would hope so.
Yes.
If you're in favor of something like that,
well, different strokes for different folks, but I personally don't agree with that. So let's hear Liz Crokin explain this. If Hillary Clinton is,
this is going to be fascinating.
If she's out there casting spells, then I don't feel that that's right. And I'm very upset. But let's listen to Liz Crokin. And for those of you who are skeptical of this, let me just remind everyone that here on this show, our policy is we listen with open minds. And not only open minds, but with open hearts as well. Let's listen to Liz Crokin talk about her severed fingers and Hillary Clinton's witchcraft. Here we go.
The pain will be temporary, So anyways, no one's threatening me, you guys, in this respect. No one cut off my fingers. Unfortunately, it was just a freak accident. I mean, if there's anything that happened to me that's related, is that these people that I expose engage in witchcraft. The people like Marina Abramovic, the people like Hillary Clinton, and for the deep state articles that are getting ready to write a hit piece on me right now. Well, look it up. Do research on Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and their trip to Haiti and how, I think it was their honeymoon, they admitted to doing voodoo there together. Research Marina Abramovic. She talks about the rituals she does. She's an occultist. all these people dabble in witchcraft and spirit cooking. So, you know.
And spirit what?
What? Spirit cooking. By the way, just cooking. By the way, just to interject for a moment, I did read it. It took about 6 years because it's such a large book. It's larger than War and Peace. But I did read Bill Clinton's autobiography, My Life, and there is an entire chapter in there about voodoo. Not really.
Okay.
Not really, but that is my favorite Black Sabbath song. I might have to play that later.
Can I sell her something?
I'm gonna have to. That's what I'm gonna open the show with today. I think Black Sabbath, Voodoo, in honor of Liz Crokin and her severed fingers. I think it's only appropriate.
What we should do is go down to like Salem, Mass, buy all the real deal stuff, offer it to her, make a fortune, and retire.
Offer it to who?
To
Liz Crokin?
Liz Crokin, who thinks that she got hexed by...
I hope you're not making sport of her severed fingers. That's not very nice.
No, I don't make a sport of
She's going to need prosthetic tips.
Come on. I mean, and I don't make fun of somebody's
oh my God.
or something.
I just realized how brilliant I am. You know who else had the tips of their fingers severed? Tony Iommi of Black Sabbath. And then he had to have metal tips put on his fingers, and that's part of what gave him that unique Black Sabbath guitar sound. I just realized that, so subconsciously I must have had that in mind when I said I'm going to play Voodoo to end the show today. Voodoo by Black Sabbath, my favorite Black Sabbath song. See, it all comes together.
Oh, you are a T.I.
No, I'm not a...
Oh, you are a T.I.
Maybe I'll play a T.I. song later as well.
See? Dun, dun, dun,
I like T.I. T.I. the rapper, for those who don't know. All right, let's listen to the rest of Liz Crokin discussing her severed fingers. This terrible tragedy as she is a victim of voodoo.
These people, like, do witchcraft against me. Like, of course they do. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were, like, casting spells on me the night before. So yeah, I'm sure that the headline tomorrow will be like, oh, conspiracy theorist Liz Crokin says her fingers got chopped off because, you know, Hillary Clinton casted a spell on her. Well, these people do engage in witchcraft. They do cast spells on people. I mean, Hillary Clinton went to a witches' coven in New York not too long ago, and on their own Instagram page, they identify as a witches' coven. It's, like, not a secret. So, anyways.
Comey did mention that. I remember that day that he made the announcement that they weren't pressing charges against Hillary Clinton. He did say something about, even though she's a witch and attends a coven, we have decided not to pursue charges against her. And of course, I was flabbergasted. I was like, wait a minute, she goes to a coven and you're not pressing charges. This is a terrible calamity.
Covens, just because she goes to a coven,
I don't think it's
a bad person.
I don't think it's appropriate.
You're making an assumption.
Not Hillary Clinton.
You're making an assumption.
I don't approve of her and Bill.
You're making an assumption.
Her and Bill doing voodoo.
Typical man. Here's something and he's gotta make an assumption.
Not okay in a presidential candidate.
So yeah, I'm sure that, you know, there's like some spiritual stuff going on.
I like how she starts the video by saying, hey guys, you know, it was just a freak accident. That's all it was. And then within like 8 seconds, she's already into, but, you know, people are casting spells on me and it's probably a spell. And Bill and Hillary Clinton do voodoo and all that stuff.
Well, wasn't Clinton also supposed to be with Bush and Obama and like dancing in front of Moloch naked in the woods? And
well, Bohemian Grove I think is more, see, it depends on what you read about it, because I've read some things about it that suggest that it's like the global elites, but I've read other things that suggest
you
it's
think the presidents would be
right. But I've read other things that suggest it's strictly a Republican thing, and that there's no Democrats there. It depends. Alex Jones, of course, did that great documentary where he infiltrated Bohemian Grove, and I mean, but you know, conspiracy theories aside, the whole Bohemian Grove thing is pretty weird. I mean, there is a video of Alex Jones approaching David Gergen, and I've always
I remember that,
and I've always kind of liked David Gergen, but he does. It is interesting to watch because David Gergen does legit like get really uncharacteristically angry when Alex Jones brings up Bohemian
Doesn't he make
Grove.
a comment of something that he shouldn't ask about, things that he doesn't understand or something?
I don't know if he says that exactly, but I'm actually I'm gonna play the clip just for the hell of it, because it is interesting.
It is kind of wild that happened, but still, I mean, you're talking about a guy who everything is a conspiracy, nothing is reality. Dude lives in a movie script, or wishes to anyway.
Here we go. Here's the David Gergen thing.
Just really quick, do you think it's a conflict of interest that you're a part of the Bohemian Grove and also reporting?
I'm sorry, this is not the Alex Jones confrontation. This is somebody else confronting.
What's he say?
But this, I've never heard this, so I'm going to go ahead and play it. But this is somebody else confronting David Gergen.
Hey, David, just really quick, do you think it's a conflict of interest that you're a part of the Bohemian Grove and also reporting?
No.
Why not? It's a secret society.
Just a quick question. How would you compare this Republican convention thus far to ones in the past? Real quick.
Tonight, the big test is tonight, and we'll know after tonight.
And what are you looking for tonight?
If he gives a home run of his speech, they'll have had a terrific convention. We'll wait and see this.
You answered that question. What about the Bohemian Grove, sir? Hey, David, can we get some transparency about the Bilderberg Group? Can we get at least what happens there?
Are you crazy?
No, I'm not crazy. But what happens there?
You have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes, I do. The Bohemian Grove, you attended. There's a lot of weird stories coming out about the Bohemian Grove. We just want to know what happens there. Seems interesting. The most powerful people come together in secret.
Excuse me, sir.
The New York Post says male prostitutes are shipped in.
What?
Oh my goodness! Well,
hey, there's a way to answer it.
Let's see if I can find the Alex Jones one.
That's the way to answer it.
Oh, here we go. I
love it.
I found the Alex Jones one. Here we go.
But he did make the comment that he shouldn't ask questions about things he doesn't understand.
Yeah, that must have been the clip you were referring to. I had never seen that clip. I don't know who that guy was, but yeah, that was somebody else other than Alex Jones confronting David Gergen.
Confrontational or
ambush journalism or whatever.
Yeah.
I want Dave Ridley to confront David Gergen about this. I think he could get to the bottom of it. But here, all right, here's the one. This is the famous clip of Alex Jones confronting Gergen.
2004, while in New York to cover the Republican National Convention, we ran into David Gergen, the Karl Rove of 4 presidential administrations.
Okay, one last question. I read a Washington Times article many years ago where you had a comment about the organization, and then now it's been in the Wall Street Journal, it's been in a lot of different newspapers, and that's the Bohemian Grove. And back in, 1996, when you joined as a Clinton advisor, the Republicans were criticizing you, oh, what about Bohemian Grove? And then you countered them by saying, hey, I don't run around in the woods naked. What did that mean?
Here is the before-mentioned Washington Times article where he said, "I didn't run around naked like they do."
I don't know what quote you're referring to. I'm not aware of any quote like that. Listen, I am a happy member of the Bohemian Grove. I like the folks who come there, and it's really inappropriate for me to talk about the group beyond that. Thank you.
Have you been there for the ceremony with the cremation of care?
Frankly, I don't think that's something I need to talk to you about.
Really?
That's right.
Well, I'm Alex Jones, and I snuck in there in 2000. I'm the guy that blew it wide open and got the video. It's been on national TV.
Well, I disrespect you for that.
You do?
I do.
But it's a lot of big public officials going in there. Don't we deserve to know?
I don't know anything about you, and I don't know anything about your film. But if you go in there with an understanding, you violated that understanding by releasing that film, and I don't respect you for that.
Really? But we have public officials.
I'm sorry. You took an understanding when you went in there that you would not do that film. And did you have an understanding when you went in there?
No.
Did you crash it?
Yes.
Yeah, and it has no trespassing signs there too, doesn't it?
No, they put them up after.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just walked in.
I'm sorry, sir. I've been there before. I know what the circumstances are.
Wow.
And I'm sorry you violated the understandings. That was not a gentlemanly thing to do.
But what about the ritual? Is the ritual genuinely?
Sir, everything. I don't owe you this comment.
I know. I appreciate it.
This is what's called ambush journalism, and I disrespect you for that as well. So thank you and goodbye.
Been in the ritual?
It's none of your damn business.
Wow.
That's right. Listen. You go around and make understandings with people and violate them. You ambush people on the streets, and that's inappropriate form of journalism. If you wish to practice that, that's fine, but don't ask others to respect you for it. If you want to, you can do. You're a free American, like anything you want. If you want to be uncivil and rude and ungentlemanly, that's up to you. But don't expect the rest of us to say, "Oh well, you're
there,
one."
Mr. Gergen.
I'm sorry, nobody sets policy in there. We try to be gentlemen, and obviously, you don't belong there.
Weaving spiders coming out here. Yeah, that is a three-pointer. Woo!
Look how strangely he behaved when we brought it up. Why is he acting so secretive? And why did he get so angry when he discovered that we'd snuck in?
Okay,
See, they take it very, very seriously. This is one of the hallmarks of the occult and secret society.
My world has ended. I have now
means
entered the Twilight
secret.
Zone because
Secrecy
I am now
is part
questioning
of their religion.
and agreeing with
they
Alex
revel
Jones.
in it. And when it's violated, they become extremely angry.
So that clip is from the documentary
I have
that Alex
fallen
Jones
down the
did.
rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I drank the wrong bottle.
There is, I think, in that same documentary, because I think I did watch part of it at one point. There's a clip of somebody asking Bill Clinton about Bohemian Grove, and he said something about, isn't that the event where all the Republicans stand naked against redwood trees? Yeah,
nice
there you go.
To know it's not a partisan, a bipartisan event.
Well, I don't know. Well, like I said, it depends who you ask. Some people claim that there are Democrats there, that it's, but who knows?
It's all in who you know, right?
Yeah. So there you go.
Didn't Obama go?
See, I've never heard of anyone saying that Obama has ever attended that, and he probably wouldn't be welcome. But the thing so the ritual, for anyone who doesn't know, the ritual that Alex Jones asks David Gergen about, the cremation of care, what Alex Jones and other conspiracy theorists claim is that they actually sacrifice a human being at the
it was an
opening
effigy
night.
now.
It was what?
I thought it's an effigy now.
Well, that's what sort of non-conspiracy theorists claim, is that no, they don't sacrifice an actual person. They sacrifice someone in effigy, but they're not actually sacrificing a live human.
Okay.
But conspiracy theorists claim no, they sacrifice a child to open at the opening night ceremony of Bohemian Grove. But I certainly hope that's not true. I doubt that it is. But it is an all-male event. There's no women allowed, and apparently there is some. They say there is some nudity.
Well,
that goes
gotta tell you, not a lot of interest in actually attending something like that.
Yeah.
Got a feeling I'd probably see a few things that would scare me to death.
Yes.
I mean, there are some things about some people that I just don't need to know.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
speaking of ambush journalism, so we'll get back to this. I do want to play this audio of. We started with this earlier in the show, and we did some other things. But so this is from lawandcrime.com. This is that Florida state senator who apparently lost her reelection bid, but she called 911 when a reporter was. When a reporter approached her in a restaurant and started asking her questions, and apparently she was having none of it. She felt that she was in danger.
3969 Northeast 160. Can you please send a police for me, please, right now?
Hello, can you please calm down? I need for
threatened.
you to calm down, please. I'm not even getting the address. Your background is very loud. 3696.
3969 Northeast 163rd Street.
Are you saying 163 Street?
3969 Northeast
Now, I have that. What I'm
163rd Street.
asking, are you saying 163 Street?
Yes, Northeast.
Is this a house or an apartment?
It's a restaurant.
Ma'am, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. What is the phone number that you're calling from? Tell me
Okay,
exactly what
7
happened. Tell me what happened.
Okay, listen. I am at Dorset right now. I have a lady who threatened me a lot, and I'm not going to argue with no one, and she's threatening me right now.
Is she
So I
there now?
need
Is she there right now
protection.
is my question. Is she there right now is my question.
Yes, she is. She
Is
is.
she black, white, or Latin?
She's white.
What color shirt is she wearing?
She wear a dress, a colorful dress.
Do you see any weapons? Do you see any weapons?
No weapon. But
What is your name, please?
my name is. I'm a senator. Senator.
I don't. Okay. What is the name of the building that you're in, or the restaurant?
I am at Dolphy's. I'm inside Dolphy's restaurant.
Are you saying dolphins?
Dolphy's.
Duffy's.
Yes.
Okay. The
So
police
you
are on
guys
that
want to
way.
let this?
The police are on the.
All right, that was the end of the call. So the story is, Democratic State Senator from Florida, her name is Daphne Campbell. She was claiming that she was being threatened at a restaurant. The woman apparently was a Miami Herald reporter who was asking questions following a campaign event. According to the Miami Herald, that lady was their reporter, Sarah Blasky. Blasky was reportedly asking Campbell questions following an event for candidates in the state Senate race. So it's not even like she's just in a restaurant and this reporter approaches her and, you know, it's out of context and she freaks out. It was after an event. Since then, Campbell lost to attorney Jason Pizzo. On the call, Campbell stated she was calling from Duffy's, the restaurant where the event took place. Let's see. Campbell only described Blasky in response to questions as being white, wearing a colorful dress, and not having any weapons. It's unclear. Well, I can see why she was threatened. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, I believe, kind of going back to what Liz Crokin was saying earlier, I believe that they say Hillary Clinton wears a colorful dress when she's doing voodoo. It's unclear what Blasky was asking Campbell prior to the 911 call. According to a report at the time, Campbell had declined an interview with the Herald, but said Blasky could email her. Blasky then reportedly listened as Campbell spoke to someone else before Campbell walked off and placed a phone call. Police responded but did not make any arrests. Afterwards, Blasky tweeted about it. She tweeted, "Last time I checked, asking a question at a public forum was allowed. Don't worry, guys. Cop didn't think the complaint was credible." Law and Crime reached out to Blasky, Campbell, and to the Herald reporter who wrote about the 911 call, but none have responded. Herald Executive Director Aminda Marquis Gonzalez said in a statement reported by the publication that Blasky did nothing wrong. Blasky is not the first reporter for Campbell. Oh, this is interesting. She's not the first reporter for Campbell to report to authorities. Earlier this year, Campbell called the police on a reporter who was recording her speaking with members of the Miami Shores Council and leaving after a meeting. Police did not make any arrests then either. Campbell also drew controversy in May when she texted a lobbyist for her local power company to restore her service after Hurricane Irma, claiming her mother was sick despite her mother having died years earlier. Oh, that's scummy. Campbell later stated that she was referring to another woman who she considers like a mother. Oh. Quote, "I called her my mother even though she's not my biological mother," unquote. Campbell had publicly stated in a 2016 interview that her mother had died. Yeah. Well, apparently she's, good luck, Florida. That's the best you got.
Well, I mean, come on
Jeez.
now. Also out of Florida, DeSantis under fire for saying Florida shouldn't monkey this up by electing Gillum, who is black.
Oh, no.
Gillum, the Democratic nominee for governor, shot back the Republicans' comments with a racist bullhorn and straight from Trump's playbook. This is coming out of Orlando, Florida. It's the Associated Press. Ron DeSantis, the Republican nominee for governor in Florida, faces a backlash on Wednesday for saying in a television interview that his state should not, quote, monkey this up, end quote, by electing his Democratic rival, Andrew Gillum, who is African American. DeSantis made the comment in an interview on Fox News while speaking about Gillum, a progressive who won his party's nomination in an upset on Tuesday night. You know, he is articulate, spokesman for those far-left views, and he's a charismatic candidate, end quote, DeSantis said. He went on to say the last thing we need to do is to monkeyed this up by trying to embrace a socialist agenda with huge tax increases and bankrupting the state. That is not going to work. That is not going to be what is good for Florida, end quote. Gillum, who was endorsed by Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont and George Soros, is vying to become the state's first black governor. DeSantis, who represents the state's 6th congressional district, was endorsed by President Donald Trump. Gillum later appeared on Fox News and exonerated DeSantis for the remarks, saying the comment was, quote, not lost on me, end quote, and ripped out of Trump's playbook.
Wow.
In the handbook of Donald Trump, they no longer do whistle calls. They're now using full-blown bullhorns, Gillum said. I'm not going to get down in the gutter with DeSantis and Trump. There are enough of that going on. I'm going to try to stay high.
Well, let me say this. So it is possible that DeSantis was just using that expression and didn't mean anything racist. But here's the thing. Now, and I'm not saying that's what I think. I'm just saying it is possible, right? Because I've certainly heard the expression monkey this up before. However, I would say this. If either way, he deserves to lose, because here's the thing. If he meant it as either overtly racist or just, sort of dog whistle under the radar racist or whatever, which honestly probably is the case. If that is his intention, then he's a scumbag, and obviously he deserves to lose. However, even if he didn't mean anything and it was perfectly innocent, and who knows, maybe that's a phrase he uses all the time, and it was just unfortunate. Well, let me finish this thought though. So I just want to make this point. Even if that's the case and it's perfectly innocent and he meant nothing racial, he still deserves to lose for not possessing the intellect to be able to think it through and understand how it's going to be perceived. Because you really have to be an idiot to not realize that using a phrase like that in this context when discussing this person is going to be perceived as racist, even if you don't intend it to be. So either way, he deserves to lose. He either deserves to lose for being a racist scumbag, or he deserves to lose for just being an idiot who doesn't understand how to use language properly. And by the way, he probably is just blatantly racist. But anyway, go ahead.
If he can't handle that, then, do you really want him speaking for you or for anyone?
The most incredible example of someone's complete lack of self-awareness, at least pre-Trump, that I've seen when it comes to this type of thing is years ago, George Allen was running for re-election as senator of Virginia. And George Allen was a rising star in the Republican Party. I remember Sean Hannity gushing about how he was the next, George Allen was supposed to be the next Reagan. And then George Allen at a campaign stop, someone from his opponent's campaign showed up. It was outdoors. It was an outdoor event. Somebody showed up and was filming the event. And George Allen sees the guy, and I guess the guy was Indian American. George Allen sees the guy and says, and look, our campaign opponent, the opposing campaign or something, has sent someone here to our event. Welcome, Macaca, to America. It's so nice to have you here. Calls him Macaca. And of course, George Allen ends up losing and is disgraced because not only did he say something blatantly racist, but even if in his own dumb little brain he didn't honestly think that was racist and didn't mean anything malicious, what goes on in someone's head when it doesn't even occur to them, when they don't have the intellect to realize, the basic common sense to realize that when someone is standing there from the opposing campaign filming you, that hang on. That might be the worst possible moment to say something racist.
It's a product of what we live in. We live in a society that is behind screens. Everything is text messaging. Everything is typing into different types of messenger programs.
Well, the George Allen thing was before.
Face-to-face, there's no empathy. There's no human interaction. You know, people are becoming more isolated, and the more isolated you are, the less empathetic you are. The less empathetic you are, the less likely you are to care how somebody else receives your language. You know, I would hope, wouldn't mean to compare a human being to an animal. Given what I've seen in the South and experienced, I can't say it's out of the realm of possibility, that's for sure. You know, I'd like to think it's not, but it's entirely possible that he means exactly what we're taking it as.
Yeah.
And that's pretty sick, but it's 2018 and we're still fighting this war. We're still fighting it. We're still fighting racism when it comes to color, when it comes to religion, when it comes to creed, when it comes to sex, when it comes to we still can't keep our noses out of everybody else's business, and we can't take 5 seconds to send a nice word across the screen instead of tearing somebody apart. And what you're saying is a product of all of that. That's the outcome. That's what you get. That's the end result of dehumanizing human contact.
Fox News even turned on DeSantis on this. I see Eric R. Eastman outside. Come on in, sir. Fox News' Sandra Smith addresses DeSantis' remarks and says Fox News doesn't condone this language.
He's kilted.
Oh my goodness!
No, man in a dress. Come here. Now I gotta see the legs.
He's saving it for.
He laughed.
He's saving it for his show.
I got a sneak peek though.
Eric, of course, on Rock Paper Hand Grenades with the Honorable Gary S. Hopper at 6 p.m. Wednesdays on Channel 23.
I got a sneak peek and is kilted.
Yes, he is. Let's see. This is Fox News addressing the DeSantis comment, and it's not Shep Smith this time, because you expect Shep Smith is usually the one guy who can get away with criticizing these people on Fox, but this was severe enough that somebody else did. Here, we'll just listen to this.
Interview to discuss the Florida election. During the interview, he made what some are calling an inappropriate comment about his Democratic opponent, Andrew Gillum. DeSantis has since clarified his comment in a statement saying, quote, Ron DeSantis was obviously talking about Florida not making the wrong decision to embrace the socialist policies that Andrew Gillum espouses. To characterize it as anything else is absurd. Florida's economy has been on the move for the last 8 years, and the last thing we need is a far-left Democrat trying to stop our success. We do not condone this language and wanted to make our viewers aware that he has since clarified his statement. Also, Mayor Gillum will be on with Shepard Smith today at 3 p.m.
Oh, okay. So Fox, actually, they're saying they don't condone the language, but at the same time, she's kind of trying to spin it as, but yeah, he didn't mean it. I mean, of course.
He's trying, they're just trying to blow it off.
The statement from the campaign is, that if you took it that way, you're a fool. It's completely absurd that anyone would even take it that way. So no apology there. By the way, Mediaite, this Google story, it just gets so increasingly more absurd.
You've literally stepped into the Twilight Zone.
Oh, of course.
I mean, did you ever imagine in your life that the world would become this twisted?
No.
I have no other word to use.
Mediaite reports Trump unleashes on Google, alleges bias for promoting Obama's State of the Union speeches and not his. Oh, my goodness. President Donald Trump is going all in with his attacks on Google. This afternoon on Twitter, the president posted a video in which he accused the tech behemoth of tipping the scale by promoting former President Barack Obama's State of the Union speeches on their homepage and then ceasing the practice during the Trump administration. Oh, there's a video. Oh, well, we gotta listen to this. He actually made a video. Okay. Oh no, the video. Never mind. The video's just words. It's just words on a screen. Along with the video, Trump added the hashtag #StopTheBias. Mediaite has confirmed via the Internet Archive, the Wayback Machine, that Trump's claims are correct. Oh, interesting. Google displayed a link to watch Obama's State of the Union in 2015 and 2016, but did not do the same for Trump's State of the Union in 2018. Trump's 2017 speech referenced in the video was not a traditional State of the Union, but rather an address to both chambers of Congress. The tweet comes one day after Trump's ominous statement from the Oval Office that Google better be careful. Tuesday morning, the president claimed the search engine is rigged against him. Google responded in a statement denying that they have a political agenda. Oh, apparently, though, the facts are correct. They did do more for Obama's State of the Union than Trump's. Dun, dun, dun.
Bah, bah.
He's quite the sleuth, that Trump. He
I
may be
just
onto
don't-
something there. Google's out to get him.
I'm telling you, I feel like I've walked into the telephone booth of the doctor and walked out on some other planet. It's insanity what is all over the news. The problem isn't fake news. The problem is, who cares news? And the real stuff gets missed.
You don't care about Google being unfair to our president?
I don't care about Google being unfair to anyone. You know what? They're a company. I just don't care. I care whether or not vets are getting proper treatment, people are getting access, that rules aren't set up and then, lied to the public about that. We talked about that yesterday about Medicare. And, I care about those types of issues. I care about, people having a meal and a bed, I care about that. If that isn't on your agenda and this crap is, well, you stink, all right? I'm sorry. You stink. You have absolutely no honor, no, I
Says
get
who?
it. What?
Says who?
Says me. I'm going to break that finger on that button.
Well, on this
I'm
show...
just going to take that button and shove it up your you-know-what-it.
On this show, we talk about what really matters, and that's why, can you believe, apparently, former half-governor of Alaska, I call her the half-governor because she couldn't be bothered to serve out a full term, Sarah Palin, whom I often liken to a Hooters waitress with learning disabilities, has not been invited. She is not invited to John McCain's funeral. Can you believe it? Why would not McCain invite the woman who was his running mate and probably at least partially responsible for him not being elected to the presidency? Why would she not be invited? I cannot believe this. My goodness.
Book? The book. The movie.
Well, what is that called?
Stuff. Everything that came out. No.
Game Change.
Yeah. That's a no-brainer. Ask people a question that might cause them to think, Matt.
She'll be busy hunting wolves anyway, I'm sure, or whatever they do now in Alaska, whatever she does now in Alaska.
They do. She loves to hunt things.
Yes.
She totally loves to hunt things.
She's a hunter.
Yeah, I know we're getting up on the hour. Do we have enough time to play that song?
Oh, yeah, I'm ending with that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
When do we have to end by?
We got to wrap up pretty much now.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But I do got to say real quick, New York Times, we just got to let you know that the bishop has said he erred in allowing the diocese to buy him a $2.3 million home.
I said, what kind of a man is this?
I just want to let you know that Bishop Patrick McGrath, in a news conference in San Jose, California, had admitted that he made a mistake in allowing a $2.3 million home to be purchased.
Well, that's good. Good for him.
I just thought we'd end on an interesting note.
All right. Very good. Well, thank you. This has been Matt Connarton Unleashed in the afternoon. Thank you to V for calling in earlier. That was fascinating. Don't forget tomorrow afternoon.
And Jenny, I'm here once in a while.
Of course.
I just kind of show up.
And tomorrow afternoon, I'll share with you my interview that I'm going to be recording tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. with CD1 candidate Terrence O'Rourke. So I'll be talking with him tomorrow morning, and then I will play that for you tomorrow afternoon here on the show. And if you missed any part of today's show, it will be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org. And to finish up today, in honor of right-wing journalist Liz Crokin and her severed fingers, severed because of Hillary Clinton's apparent witchcraft.
And to one of our best listeners, like ever.
Liz Crokin? Yes.
No, Fred.
Oh. Fred?
He's the one that brought this song up.
No, he didn't. I thought of it myself. It's my favorite Black Sabbath song.
I thought it was his idea.
No. Fred does send me a lot of music that we play on the show, but nope, this was me.
All right.
From the Ronnie James Dio era of Sabbath, the Mob Rules album. Here it is, Voodoo, in honor of Liz Crokin and her severed fingers. Damn that Hillary Clinton. Damn her to the blackest hell. Crooked Hillary and her voodoo witchcraft or whatever. All right, we'll talk at y'all a little bit later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.